but the circumstances are 100% real here. So there are existing clients that were due to roll off a fixed rate of, wait for it, Ben, 1.99%. Wouldn't that be nice to keep that going for a little while? That was going to happen in September 23. So they'd been on that fixed period for 2 years. So in the throes of COVID, obviously fixed. And so this becomes part of the fixed rate cliff narrative that everyone has been chatting about. So 18 months into the loan, now about to expire into the 2 years. Here's the problem that we're trying to solve. They wanted to refix in the loan so that they could secure payments. But here's the kicker in this story, and it's a big part of the story, and it's sort of, it'll speak to everyone's hearts here. They want to provide some certainty during the birth of their second child, and therefore provide confidence in the repayments for the next 2 to 3 years. They also wanted to have extra funds to upgrade the family car to support their growing family. But here's the facts. The female applicant here was the major breadwinner, and not a lot of maternity leave was being paid. So the surety around the budget, based on the savings I already have and the income over the next couple of years, was really, really critical here, Ben.
This is about this couple being aware of their liquidity changes, their cash flow changes that are going to occur over this particular time. And they wanted to get ahead of the curve on this one because, the first experience with, their first child was quite a challenging one. Well, they had their first child 6 years ago, and there were multiple medical complications as part of going through, obviously, firstly falling pregnant and then obviously delivering that child. And so a lot was learnt by the family in terms of these medical complications, and based on the evidence and information they were provided with, that was going to also be highly probable by having that second child. But what their challenges here is that we realise that this puts both the mother and the child at serious risk. And so when you are talking about that, potentially, having honest conversations in the household also mean, what does it mean if things go wrong? What does that mean for our, obviously, the health of those two individuals, but also what does it mean for the financial security of the household, right? Financial security is an underpinning element, a foundation element of any household's comfort levels and their peace of mind.
Not only that, they had some out-of-pocket bills that popped up previously with some health complications that were not covered by insurance, so therefore they're putting more mental load. State of mind is being increasingly challenged. So the last thing you need, Ben, right now is other worries outside of putting all of your energy and focus on that.
Yeah, we've talked about this often around insurances and, having those defense strategies around that. These are the things you don't necessarily ever want to call on. But if you are facing significant health challenges, the last thing you want to have to do is worry about money. So, in terms of the plan here, we wanted to get a cash buffer. So we wanted to take advantage of the equity that we had in the family home. Makes complete sense. Get that cash process done and get it done earlier rather than obviously, trying to apply for lending with the pending birth of a second child and going down to a single income. Always makes that more challenging from the lenders and the credit assessment point of view. So it was really clear that if we could take out this portion of buffer, which would also allow us to accommodate the upgrade of the car, utilise the equity that we had in our home, and then get that assurity around those repayments, is going to be a critical part of the solution that was going to bring peace of mind to this couple so they could focus on, their mental strength could focus on a successful and safe carriage and delivery of child number 2.
Yeah, so the aha moment for everyone involved with the strategy was let's just get certainty, and in this case, it was at the expense of cost. So in the current environment that we're in, everyone's looking for ways to reduce costs, but they wanted to move out of that low fixed rate of 1.99 early, because even though those increased costs would have been incurred, because obviously refixing for certainty at a higher rate was clearly putting impost on the family, but that wasn't the main problem they were trying to solve. So from what the details we've just described, the main problem they were trying to solve was certainty. and certainty now and certainty for the next few years. So that's essentially what they did. So we went to a lender. Wasn't one of the big four, but it was in the next tier, Ben, because they had competitive pricing and quick and easy processing to get things done, right? So that was the idea. Fixed most of the debt, but left $100,000 of it variable to take advantage of. They had some cash, so they could put the cash into offset, which could provide them with the liquidity and the funds that they need to do a couple of those things we talked about, including at the beginning, but also meaning that for the majority of their lending, it was a lock and they knew exactly what they were looking to do, Ben.
I mean, look, the key takeaway for me is a really simple one, Bryce, and that is an ounce of prevention is far better than a pound of cure, right? And this is, so to your point, this is about basically saying, all right, well, we want to move a little bit earlier rather than we understand that we would have had some additional savings if we had done the fixed rate right this month. But no, we planned for that 6 months earlier. We've rolled over this high cost, but there's a reason for that, and that makes that particular household feel very comfortable, very much at ease in terms of not having to worry about their financial situations. So all the focus can go on, again, what we were talking about before, and that is the safe arrival of the second child for all parties concerned.
Now, there was a hiccup. The loan docs were issued with incorrect rates to the clients, but we took control of that before that got to the client. So it was, first of all, it was communicated why the loan docs would be voided. The correct docs were issued shortly, so it was a less stressful signing experience. So that was something that just to prove it's not perfect, Ben. In the real world, stuff happens.
Well, I think that's a really important point. I mean, we do thousands of loans a year, and you'd be surprised how many human errors creep into those documents. But once you actually understand the back end process with the lender, there's, that application could be touched by, in some lenders' case, up to 20 different people. So those 20 different people need to make sure that they're dotting I's and crossing T's, and that creates that risk of error, in terms of the final product being produced. But of course, any good team at our end needs to make sure that we're vetting and there's quality controls